Russia's current president's fellow student Yuri Shvets says that the anti-Western trio no longer exists. A few months ago, a triumvirate was forming: North Korea, Russia, and China. Since then, China has changed. It has tempered its eagerness to cooperate with its friend Vladimir. After all, it appears that his friend Vladimir does not assess the capabilities of his armed forces properly. One doesn't need any enemies with such a friend, as people say. The axis that remains is North Korea and Moscow. Brilliant. To me, this is some kind of collapse of civilization with elements of a farce, said Shvets. So what made China think twice about a partnership with Russia? The answer is China's interests, as the leadership of the Communist Party of China understands them. Building its relations with Russia, Beijing will pursue its interests through a so-called maximization strategy. It will try to maximize the benefits it can get from Russia, its war in Ukraine, and its confrontation with the West, but reduce to a minimum the negative consequences of this confrontation for China. It is difficult to evaluate any benefit to Russia from this conflict. It would make Russia a diminishing asset for China, but also one whose dependence on China would grow. It will benefit China commercially, economically, and possibly politically, as Moscow will be forced to listen to China's desires. Russia's aggressive imperialism may also encourage Central Asian countries to rely more on China as a counterweight to Russia's overbearing influence. With these benefits in mind, Beijing will have to consider the disadvantages of its strategic partnership with Russia. China's resistance to distance itself from Putin's war in Ukraine has damaged China's reputation, especially in Europe. While Western sanctions against Russia have opened up opportunities for China to import more Russian oil, gas, and wheat at bargain prices, they have also hurt Chinese companies, which may be affected by the side effects of these sanctions. As a consequence, many of them have become cautious in their relations with Russia to avoid openly violating sanctions. The impact of sanctions against Russia on China may be more troubling than their direct impact on the global economy. The loss of Russian and Ukrainian exports of fossil fuels, grains, and minerals has begun to disrupt global markets, explode prices, and create friction in the supply chain. This does not bode well for global economic performance, and thus for China's exports and economic growth.